Okay, so today we're going to be talking about my top 5 favorite casting rods under $50. And this is a really budget price point where you can get a fine enough rod that might not be as sensitive as the $100 rods or as durable, but they're still going to be good enough to get you started and to catch a lot of good fish on. And starting the first rod on my list, taking the number 5 spot, is going to be the Lew's Hank Parker Speed Stick. This rod costs $43 at Walmart, and I've had this rod for about 6 months, and it honestly has not been holding up the best, but that's just the cork. I'm not saying that I've taken really good care of it, but then this is a 7-foot medium fast action. The reel seat is pretty comfortable. The two things I don't like about it: the hook keeper is down there, and I'm a kayak angler, so putting it in the rod holders, that kind of gets in the way. I prefer when it's above the reel seat. And this rod, so it's really good for chatterbaits, spinnerbaits, stuff like that you don't really have to hook set crazy on. And those are the two negatives with this rod. And yeah, overall, it costs $43 at Walmart. There's also a similar version from Lew's that is sold at like Tackle Warehouse and Academy, and that's a little more expensive, but from what I can tell is about the same rod. But this is a good beginner rod. Pairs up great with the Lew's Speed Spool LFS. And okay, so pick is going to be from 13 Fishing. This is the 13 Fishing Fate Black. This is in a 7'1" medium heavy, extra fast. I picked this up for a really good deal, but you can find it for normally about $60, but it does go on sale. And this rod, I mostly use it for Texas rigs or jigs or things that have like swim jigs, or I actually use it for my S-Wavers and my Draw 6.5s, smaller glide baits, which I really like the extra fast action for that. And yeah, this rod, great swim jig rod. The grip is a little wide for my liking, but a lot of people really like that grip. And this is taking the number 4 spot on my list. My number 3 spot, it's going to be a Abu Garcia Vengeance casting rod, and I'll put a picture up on screen right now. I really like the reel seat of this rod. I do not own it, but I have used it in the past and have just felt it and have known some people who use it. And the reel seat, I really love this reel seat from Abu. And the rod is relatively sensitive for the price point compared to some other ones. And it's a little bit on the heavy side, but it's still a good rod, and I would recommend that's taking my number 3 spot. For my number 4, it's for my number 3 pick, it's gonna be the Daiwa Arid casting rod. This one I have in a 7-foot medium fast, and this rod, I've had it for about probably a year and a half, 2 years almost, and I have loved this rod. I have had 0 problems with anything on it. And this rod, it says it's a fast action, but honestly, I would probably say it's more of a moderate, just because that's a pretty wide bend of the rod. But that's why I love this rod. It's a really great jerkbait rod at that budget price. It's light, it's sensitive enough. It's not crazy sensitive, but I would say it's a great jerkbait, square bill, smaller crankbait, popper, like that kind of rod. This one excels at it. But the things that doesn't the medium heavy still has a pretty moderate bend. So I would say it's not the best one for like Texas rigs. I would probably go with either the next pick on this list or the Abu Garcia Vengeance, or the 13. I've just found that with that moderate bend, it's better for the baits that you don't have to hook set on, or you want that bend. And so this rod has been great. It comes in at $49.99, and I've paired it up with the SLS MGL 70, and this reel with that rod just makes a really nice combo that feels quite high end. And that's why this has taken my number 2 spot on my top 5 casting rods under $50. And for my number 1 spot, that would be the Shimano sellus casting rod. And that's Shimano's blue rod. I'll put a picture on screen, but it's a really great, it comes in at $49.99. It's just a really great all-around rod. I don't own this rod anymore. I actually recently sold it to a friend who was starting, who's getting their first bait caster. And I had this was my first bait casting rod. I had it for about a year and a half, and this rod was really great. It performed well. I had to replace the top eyelet, but that was my fault though. But this rod, it's really sensitive. It's not the lightest, but the reel seat is comfortable. Everything works really well on this rod, and I would definitely recommend it at that $50 price point. It's just an all-around great rod, and I definitely recommend that as my number 1 pickup. And thanks for watching. I'm going to do this series, on $100 rods, and I might do it on spinning rods, but I have a little less experience with the cheaper spinning rods. But thanks for watching. Hit that like button and subscribe if you enjoyed the video.